Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bible Show. Today I'm going to share a story because I'm bored and I'm gonna try to tie it into a lesson to try to make it useful. And so I'm not sure if I share a story I'm gonna come across. I'm gonna be talking idly, but I've been thinking about sort of the collective unconscious and the desires of the world. I think with the current situation that the world is in, we have good guys. We have people that we're told to love. We have bad guys, people that we're told to hate. But I think the general population is pretty bored in life, and I think we mentioned before that the general population is very much unsatisfied. But taking it taking it to different cognitive origin to discover, I think people are bored, pretty bored. Like you walk around, just walk around outside, people look bored or looking for a new adventure, something new and exciting. So hopefully I can share a story that can somewhat cure my boredom as well as cure cure boredom in general. So let's go see how I do. So this is gonna connect back to a lesson at the end, and I'm probably gonna go into a lesson that's not gonna be as interesting as a story. So back when I was a sophomore in college, I graduated a year early from high school, so I was really proud of myself going into sophomore year of college. I was supposed to be 19, yeah, 18, 19. I was supposed to be 19 for my sophomore year when I was 18, so I felt like a sense of, just not a sense of pride, but a great sense of accomplishment that I was 18 um, as a sophomore going to college. This story, I should have this as a background. Let's see if you guys can figure it out. Gloss. Today we talk about gloss. And I remember walking into the library I think it was my first day of school of my sophomore year, and the library was pretty small. It was an L-shaped library. It was pretty small, but and my school was really small too, so there was not a lot of people there, and I went into the library till morning just to sort of uh, scout the place out. I'm not sure my intention that day was to scout the place out. It wasn't exactly, or maybe I was yeah, I was probably trying to scout the place out, or maybe I forgot I was trying to talk to some girl back then. Well, just trying to talk to girls back then. Like that day, I forgot my exact intention. Like, what was the exact desire in my heart? I'm sure when God puts me on a trial, I'll remember. When we go through that day, I'll remember. God will remind me my true desire that day. But I'm pretty sure I was just I think it was scouting the place. It was like yeah, second and first day of school right after orientation, I dropped all my stuff in my dorm. I had like a little small dorm, like four guys I was living with. I will throw myself in there. I was living with three other guys, and I lived in a duo situation. So I was bunking. I wasn't bunking with someone else. It was like a duo situation. Trying to make this. It was a duo situation. So I was in a room with someone else, and on the other side of the apartment room the apartment, the room was room. There was two rooms, so basically it was like this housing situation where there were two rooms, two guys in two rooms each, so there's four people and all, and then we shared a community kitchen table, like a kitchen table in the middle. So there was no there was no meal plan for our college. And to this day, I don't think there's any meal plan, and I don't think it's needed. It's such a small college, but if there is one someday, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I went to the library that day, and I was I entered through the front door of the library. There's two doors, two entrances to the library, and yeah, walked into school, punched my ID in, put my ID in to go upstairs. Went to the second floor where the library was, and I entered. I'm pretty sure I entered. I mean, of course, I entered the library. How else? How else would I come up? How else would this story start? So I entered the library, and then I take a look at the room. I'm at the front entrance. I take a look at the printers to my right hand side, and there's 6 tables in front of me, just sort of like just 6 long tables for people to study and sit. There's nothing too impressive, I think. If any of you guys were to see it, it's not too impressive at all. But there's a group of people, so on one of the tables on the right hand side of the room, that are like a group of guys, group of friends or something like that. And then I couldn't see her face yet, but there's blonde on the left hand side. And so this is where the story starts to pick up. So I notice this blonde, and I think to myself in my head, wow, must be one of the luckiest guys. I'm just here to scout and get some. I get a lot more than what I was looking for. I get something sort of. I stumbled upon something I was looking for, but I wasn't looking for it that specific time and period. So it was sort of a win-win. It's really rare in life you get win-wins. You sort of go in life for a win, but then you get a win on top of that. So I stumbled upon a win-win, which doesn't often happen often in life. So I did what I call a two-step. Well, I call it a two-step in my head, but I don't think it's best. Well, sometimes it's good to do two-step, but I guess I was a little nervous in the beginning, so I decided to explore the whole L shape of the library, because you could go past the printers, go to the part of the library where there's chairs, you could sit down, explore the whole L shape. And then I would double back and sort of ask if I could have a seat at her table. So that's what I did. I think I remember. Took an L shape, went to explore the whole library. There was like a piano downstairs. There was staircase that had like an outside place where you could study where it's more quieter, and the library was actually sort of the louder place we could talk, but there was an outside place where it was like pretty quiet on that stuff. And so once I sort of explored the place, I realized maybe I'm projecting how I think now into that situation, but I was like, okay, if I don't walk back and approach her, it's gonna be some weird stuff. So I was like, I sort of had to approach her. So I went back to the main entrance to the library. I think I asked her if I could sit down, and then that's really when I sort of saw her face. When I sort of I explored the whole L shape, and then I turned around, and I like sort of saw her face. I was like, and I was pleasantly surprised, and it really was a win-win. So I was super happy, especially back then in college, being 18. Really learning more about the game. If I'm being honest, my game was not on point by then. There was like a couple key flaws that was missing, and there's a couple key flaws. So that was a learning time period for me. So I thought this is something new. This is a new discovery. So I went to approach her, said hi, say, "How you doing? My name's Chris. I'm gonna make a name up. Make a name up for privacy." She said, "Hi, my name's Jennifer," and that was my 2018, 2019, 2021. So that was my third year studying Jungian analytical psychology. So I didn't ask her about that right off the bat, but we started talking a little bit. I think I was asking her about a schedule, and she was telling me like, yeah, this professor's that, or this professor's like this professor's like that. I was just going over my schedule. It's just I forgot if I had a paper schedule, but I was just going over my schedule, talking about just my schedule, and she was, just making small talk, trying to keep the conversation going. And yeah, I guess for some context, this woman was like blonde. She had big round eyes, like a really small nose, really like a small straight nose, and like really big eyes. And it really contrasted with her height. She was blonde, but she was really short. She was like 4'11", 5 foot. And I think I tried to I think how the conversation sort of went was like, "Hey, I'm a sophomore here. Are you a sophomore?" She was like, "I'm a junior." I think she said I was a senior here. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was sort of disappointed because then well, of course I wouldn't see you the next couple of years, so I was kind of sad. So we went on for a bit, and then I started poking a little bit into the psychology part, because that's probably what interests me most in life is besides human gender dynamics, just psychology, what people think. And we sort of had this conversation. It was like I was asking her about like what she thought about psychology, and then she sort of mentioned, I don't know how we went into World War II and all that stuff. And I remember she was talking about a situation. I was asking her about morality, and then she mentioned, or she just brought up this point that let's go say she was hiding two Jews. The Nazis were looking for the two Jews or something. I guess we were discussing the morality of lying, and she said, yeah, she's something like, yeah, I would lie to protect those Jews. Even though lying is wrong, she would lie to protect the Jews that she was hiding. So I thought that was interesting, but I remember not being too satisfied by that conversation, because it was abruptly cut short, because I forgot what it's called. First period we're starting our 10 a.m. classes were starting, 9:30 classes were starting, so everyone had to go to class, and I don't think I wasn't able to share too much about the 16 personality type, so I wasn't happy. So it was just I wasn't happy. I didn't get to talk too much about that. So conversation ended there. And yeah, that's sort of about it for the story. And this is gonna basically at our lesson time. So yeah, after like a week. After a week in the school, our school was so small. I figured real quick, she was the prettiest girl at the school, and me having a sort of crush. I was in college. I didn't have this weird thing, but I was it was like my second year being a Christian, but it's not because I was Christian, but I sort of told myself I only wanted to talk to virgins, like for the I just only wanted to talk to virgins. I don't know why. I'm not sure whether it was because of high standards. Probably because I don't see a point. Biblically speaking, I think it's immoral. Just and that I guess the best thing a woman can do if she's already had a boyfriend or husband is to, if they're separated, to reconcile together. That's the best thing to do in the perfect world, so she doesn't become a HW. She doesn't become promiscuous. But yeah, for some reason I had that. I just decided that I only want to talk to virgins in college, so I tried to. I guess that started. That sort of after I talked to Jennifer, that sort of started that desire in me, that the small little crush. I just wanted to figure out if whatever person I talked to besides Jennifer or after that was a virgin or not. So that brings us to our lesson, gloss, and nothing much really happened between Jennifer and I. It was we saw each other every now and then. I think we said hi a couple times. I think I could have taken it further, but that's a long. Well, actually, the short story. My game was on point, so I wouldn't actually. Yeah, it's a long story. But that's where now we can get into lessons. So I sort of was able to figure out the tell when I was able to figure out the tell. About I was able to figure out like a couple months after. And so that's where we get gloss, and we'll put gloss theory. So just to give it some nice nomenclature. So all virgins, we put a premise, all virgins have this gloss in their eyes. So it's like this sort of outer covering above the eyes. It's sort of like I wouldn't say it's like water, but it's like a sheet of ice. It's like the sheet of ice over water. It's just like this thin gloss. I made a video about this twice. When I first discovered it back in college, when I made my own personal discovery. There's people before me that have made this discovery. I think you guys might be able to guess who. There's people before me that have made this discovery and just with their experiences in life. But I made a video when I made this discovery back in college, this was around like 2022, fall 2022. And yeah, fall 2021, and or early spring 2022. And I made another video about this again in 2024. Now I'm making another video about this, and I hope this is better. So the first one didn't get that much traction. I think I got a little bit. Second one got a little bit more traction, but I had people that just didn't believe me. But it's completely true, and you can figure it out yourself. There's many ways to figure it out, but the easiest way is I think we have the premise, not a premise, just basic idea that all moms have had intercourse to have the child. So they're no longer virgins, and if you look at their eyes, you can see that their eyes are sort of, the term I used to like to use, broken in. That sort of gloss is sort of removed from their eyes, and their eyes become it's like the sheet of ice has disappeared. Their eyes become, I wouldn't say watery in a sense like there's tears in their eyes, but just watery, just there's no more, there's like that sheet of ice, that gloss has disappeared. So the eyes become watery. And that's I think with this, back to my point I made earlier. I mean, definitely you pay attention to any mother with children. Like, you pay attention to someone's eyes. It's not like in a uncomfortable, like make someone uncomfortable way, but just in you sort of just take a quick, like, you take more information than you do usually when you make eye contact with someone. You can see that their eyes are from the correct angle, are always like broken in. The gloss has disappeared. The sheet of ice has disappeared. And this tell is it's probably the best tells out there. One of the best tells, because it always appears, but sometimes I don't have the best eyesight. So sometimes I made a couple I made a couple mistakes. If I thought I've made some mistakes, definitely. Like I thought some women that were virgins weren't virgins. Some women that weren't virgins were virgins, and definitely made some blunders. Just poor perception, which leads to poor judgment. So it's my fault. I mean, that's like I made some mistakes. Definitely made some mistakes, but the tell is still how it is, and it's very interesting how God sort of created humans. When He created woman, there's some tells that were I wouldn't say a tell is created in a way. It just sort of happens. Like when X condition happens, a Y tell appears. So it's interesting how this sort of tell activates after X condition has been achieved. So to me, that's very interesting. And so with this in mind, there's really no excuse for a guy to really talk to a girl that's not a virgin, because, like I mentioned before, the best thing for a girl that's not a virgin, an ideal situation is for her to go back to her original man. No offense, but I think oftentimes this can't happen, or it's just too. It sounds too too fairy tale, too wishy-washy to tell someone to go back to their original man. And sometimes the circumstances, it's just listening to myself say it, or just saying it out loud. It's a little bit it's just unrealistic unless that person is really deep in the faith, Catholic or Orthodox or Protestant. There's no good reason why, because there must have been a reason they left in the first place, or a reason the other person left. So it's hard, but it's the best thing to do to avoid becoming a H or W or a promiscuous. So even saying the letter is kind of offensive, promiscuous. And there's definitely some other tells too. I'm thinking if the other tells would go on a separate video, but really. I think another easy tell is that virgins usually they have a light gait. Virgins always have a light gait, and non-virgins, they always have like a heavy gait, like a kind of penguin walk. It's usually always the case. That's why no offense, by the way, no disrespect. I say this with all due respect. That's why there's some non-virgin, a good amount of non-virgins out there that wear heels, and I'm not too sure. I would say, I don't mean to be too presumptuous, but I think I do agree that actually, from what I've observed, there is a sort of self-awareness and just from a cognitive projection, like putting myself in, like, without getting too weird, just putting myself in their shoes. I'm sure there's a self-awareness that I think I'm definitely sure she's understand her gait has changed, her eyes have changed, and I think a lot of non-virgins, that's why they wear heels or boots. They're sort of their gait has changed, and the heels or boots, they sort of hide their gait, hide the loss of innocence. But I understand that there's a level of self-awareness there, but I'm not too sure the percentage, whether it's 40-60, 50-50, 80-20, 20-80. I haven't given too much thought on the percentage because it's not the most practical thing to have that knowledge, set at the moment. But for a video, I should have all the details. But I don't have any concise answer at the moment, but yeah. So those are the two big tells, and it's definitely it's definitely easy to make mistakes with these tells, like when you're in a rush, or just when you have poor, or like maybe you just have bad eyesight. You don't have the best eyesight like myself. It's definitely easy to make mistakes, but for the most part, I'm very. It's become part of my perception now. Like when I say that in a way like when we see an apple, we see red. Or like when we see a woman, when you see a woman, you're like, she's pretty, she's a little pretty, she's pretty, something like that. So I guess it's good to understand, as especially as guys, have this as part of your perception. So you don't you don't go around like being a fool. And I think being a fool is definitely, I think, this big crux as to why a woman doesn't respect a man. Sort of game is all about understanding and sort of mastery of like jujitsu, curse energy, soul energy, the game. Um, so yeah, definitely you don't want to, especially if you talk to a girl that's not a virgin, you find out she's not a virgin later because she told you she's probably, that's gonna make you look like even more of a fool. So definitely be careful, and just understand that. Also to understand that a lot of guys don't understand is that, but there's girls that talk to like thousands of guys on Snapchat, thousands of guys on Instagram, hundreds of guys on Instagram. It's like that back, hundreds of guys on like Tinder, 50 or 30 guys on Instagram, 10 guys in the digits, and maybe a couple guys in person, and she's still a virgin. That's very much the case. A lot of guys see a girl with big numbers, and sort of the DMs, and they assume that she's been around the block. But if you see, if her eyes aren't broken in, it's I don't. Yeah, if her eyes aren't broken in, and she still has her light gazelle light gate, then she's a virgin. It's just how it is. And there's sort of slander of women. I think there's a lot of slander against certain types of women, like certain women out there, which is, I think it's unfair. The lack of knowledge can produce slander. Like they slandered that one. Actually, I'm not sure if giving more attention to the situation would help her or would hurt her image. I think it would help her, because I feel like I think she's still going through this. But like this girl who's like slept with the guy that people said that she slept with, but like one, I don't think with all the respect, I don't think the guy had the game. I don't think the guy could sleep with her. And if I met her, I could tell if I could 100% tell if she's a virgin or not. So yeah, I've that situation, this story made me mad, because like there's just a lot of guys with just lack that sort of understanding of soul energy, understanding the game. I want to double back on curse energy, because I use it because it's a popular term in anime. That's sort of it's a great terminology to understanding manipulation of the soul. But curse, that just gives me, I think that upsets the Holy Spirit inside of me. So I'm gonna avoid saying that. But yeah, there's guys out there. There's so many guys out there with just an improper understanding of the world, and they share just they share, they sort of cast judgments on others with an improper understanding of the world, and that leads to a lot of slander in women, unlike like a good amount of women, which is I think it's unfair. And the women that are actually, I think a woman gets slandered all around the corner, so it's definitely a shame. Like if you slander a virgin, it's like you don't know what you're talking about, and she's a virgin. That's so evil. like, and it's not just one guy. What's one guy spread slander? There's a lot of guys that are in the same boat as that guy and don't understand, and so now they all think that she's been around the block, but in reality, she's still a virgin. Still a virgin. Believe it or not, still a virgin. You can tell when you look in her eyes. You can tell by the way she walks. Still a virgin. So yeah, just a lot of. I made this video last year. I think there's guys that disagree with me, guys that think I'm lying, but 100% true. It's just this is just the tells sort of the chain of events that God, the chain of custody that God set in motion of X conditions achieved, Y is just going to happen. And I think there's ways to hide this tell. Women are self-aware. There's ways to hide this tell, but it's like eventually it's gonna show. If you're perceptive enough, eventually it's gonna show. So yeah, it's basically gloss theory. Practical advice, just to sum everything up. Try not to be a fool. Try to only talk to virgins. Like if you can't, like if someone had the ability to choose the winning lottery ticket all the time, why wouldn't you? I guess you should always choose the winning lottery ticket unless you wanted to lose on purpose for X, Y, and Z reason. But if you have the ability to understand who's a virgin, who's not a virgin, you should only be talking to virgins because I think A, that's the right thing to do, and B, why not have the most feminine woman out there if that's your goal in life, or if that's part of your agenda in life. So and more practical advice. If you're a woman, I think if you're not a virgin, I think wearing boots or heels can really hide your gait, to hide that sort of no offense, by the way, I say this with all the respect, to hide to sort of cover the just the change in gait, because sometimes people don't like the way they. I think sometimes people don't like the way, like women don't like how they've changed in certain areas. So definitely wearing boots or heels can hide that gait. And girls, now the girls have this level of perception. That's something. Let me think about this. Since I'm not. The girls have this level of perception. I think. I am pretty sure. Yeah. Actually, I can't say. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure. I would say it's a cognitive projection. So if a girl is a virgin, she'd probably project everyone else as a virgin. And most girls are virgins nowadays with rising singleness. So, and if a girl's not a virgin, she would project onto others that others aren't virgins. But then she would look at all the tells and signs, compare it to her own tells, and see it's a difference. So yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I can't say with 100% certainty. I haven't given that too much thought. And yeah, for God, just be more wiser, which only a couple people out of 100 will. But just stop slander, stop acting like not even acting. Stop, it's like telling an amateur, stop being amateur. Like I hope you stop being amateur. Just really really understand the game. Really, for your own sake, for other people's sake, because I'm so tired of all this slander against virgins. It's a shame. It's just a decent looking woman, you're a virgin. I shouldn't laugh, but then some guys make up some rumors or stories. I shouldn't laugh, and basically ruin your life. I shouldn't laugh, but somehow this is so hilarious. This is so comical. Um, you lose and you're like struggling. You're fighting against time. You're fighting against foolish men. I shouldn't laugh with this. That's definitely something. I was very serious earlier. Now it's comical. But yeah, those are some just tells guys. Just don't be don't be spreading rumors. Don't be spreading slander. Don't be slandering. Most of the guys don't know what they're talking about. So yeah, maybe someday. Yeah, that's for a different video. But yeah, enjoy it. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed.